in example 2 here, they want you to recognize and work with formulas. So in part A, sine 8x, cos 3x, cos 8x, sine 3x, they want you to start to recognize that if you have 4 trig functions with sine and cos, it's probably one of those formulas. And in this case, we've got 8x twice, so maybe you put alphas above the 8x's, and 3x twice, so maybe you put betas above that, and then check. Is there a formula that on the right-hand side has sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta? And which one is it? So what is it equal to? It's, if you had the alphas and betas, it's a sine one. Is it alpha minus beta or alpha plus beta? It's alpha minus beta. So the first thing to recognize is which formula it is. And then once you've recognized this, that means this one in particular is going to equal sine 8x minus 3x, which is sine of 5x. Now we had our formulas, we were introduced to them already for sine alpha plus beta, right? We saw these formulas already. There are also formulas for tan. So there's a tan alpha plus beta formula and a tan alpha minus beta formula. Again, what we want with these is to have them mostly memorized. So I don't know if you're going to say, oh my goodness, there's a fraction with a whole bunch of tans. If that's what you memorize, that might work for you. A fraction with a whole bunch of tans, I should check if that's one of my tan formulas. And that's what is exactly what's happening here in example 2. Oh, that's example 3. In part B, oh, I've got a fraction with a whole bunch of tans. Ugh. I should check if that's one of my formulas. So what do I have? I have tan of an angle plus tan of a different angle, 1 minus tan of an angle, tan of a different angle. So above this, it might be helpful to say, I'm going to say this one's alpha and alpha, this is beta and beta. Do I have a formula that has tan alpha plus beta over 1 minus tan alpha tan beta? Does that match one of those formulas on my formula sheet? Yes. It matches tan alpha plus beta. So because it matches tan alpha plus beta, I can say that this is going to equal tan of pi over 6 plus pi over 12. How do I add these together? Need a common denominator, right? And common denominator will be pi over 12. Oh, sorry, it will just be 12. But this one will be 2 pi over 12 plus 1 pi over 12. Can you see that you would get 3 pi over 12 when you add? Is 3 pi over 12 on your pie plate?
Yes.
Yes. How? Oh, it simplifies to pi over 4. So whereas you don't need to simplify your fractions because they assume you know how to do it, in this case, they would want you to recognize that 3 pi over 12 is pi over 4. And what is tan of pi over 4? 1. 1. The entire complicated thing that we started with is equal to 1. But we first needed to recognize, have that memorized, that if we have a fractions with a whole bunch of tans, that should trigger us to check our tan formula. And then put your alpha and beta in and see if it matches up. Because some of your questions in your homework, they're going to kind of match up, but not completely match up. But this one matched up perfectly to tan alpha plus beta, so then we could solve for that one. Okay, we're going to do example 3 before we get to the homework, but I will assign 4 and 5.